Allison here from counselingtransforms.com, where we help our clients achieve their best self, better relationships, and a more balanced life. Today's topic is couples counseling and the process of change when it comes to a significant relationship in your life. Step number one is the I feel, I want, or need statement. And number two, then identify and communicate the behavior that you would like to see different. Like, I need you to be kinder in your approach. I need you to use an I feel, I need statement instead of a you statement. So level one of improving a relationship is using the I feel, I want, or need statement consistently and appropriately. The appropriate part of using an I feel, I want, or need statement is do so kindly, do so clearly. And a lot of people make a mistake because they go, I feel, they'll actually put that out there. They'll say the I feel part. But then what they do is like, you're a jerk. So that turns into a you statement. It's accusatory, it's problematic. Or I feel like you don't care. That's not an appropriate I feel, I want, or need statement. So I label my emotion. I feel happy. I feel sad. I feel frustrated. I feel hurt. I feel discouraged. I feel defensive, for example. And I need, then insert the behavior. So the I feel, I want, or need statement is level one. It is a simple concept. It's not so easy to do, especially if you've been in a relationship where there's some hurts and there's some resentments. It's very difficult to do in the moment. However, even though it's counterintuitive, it's not something that comes naturally to us. It works so much better. The other cool thing about the I feel, I want, or need statement is it's really impossible to argue with. So if you and whoever you want to have a good relationship with use the I feel, I want, or need statement, I dare you to do that and fight. It's kind of like trying to fight with someone and you're both wearing those sumo suits. It just makes it ridiculous and it doesn't work. So if I say, I feel hurt and I need you to change your tone, what are you going to rebut that with? Like, you're not hurt and I can yell at you? That doesn't even make sense. So when I do the I feel, I want, or need statements well, it really takes an argument off the table. And instead, I'm asserting what I want or need, and I'm asking for your help. The next thing that we do when we're going to improve a relationship is to identify a needs list. And that's part of the I feel, I want, or need statement. But usually what happens is we can identify a list of maybe 3, 4, 5 things, behaviors, that each partner can do to improve the relationship. So when we're doing a couple session after the initial assessment, or maybe at the end of the initial assessment, I like to find out from the couple, okay, what is one thing that person B can do to improve the relationship for person A? And then the same thing the other way. So what's one thing that person A can do to improve relationship with person B? That is turned into a behavioral goal that is measurable and specific. So treat me better is way too vague in general. It doesn't help me or it doesn't help the other person to improve the relationship. We need to specify that. Even if, let's say that you're going to do your love languages, so things like words of affirmation, I need you to define what that means. Or quality time maybe is even a better example. Quality time for one person might not be the same as quality time for another. So maybe quality time is looking into each other's eyes and having a deep, meaningful conversation. Or it could be just being in close proximity to each other. But I have to define that in behavioral terms, which one, so we know what the mark is, so we can shoot for the target and hit it more often. That is important when it comes to identifying a needs list. So we can start with one need for each person, and then we might expand that out to 2 or 3 or 4 and set target behaviors and measurable goals. So it could be something like, I need you to empty the dishwasher by 6 p.m. on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Or I need a date night at least once a week for 2 hours where our phones are off and it doesn't involve the kids. That would be a measurable goal. So we can tell whether it's hit or not. And then when we have a needs list established, we turn that into, I call it a behavioral contract, but it's really just writing those goals down so that everybody knows what the expectation is. Having the behavioral contract written down, or the agreement written down, alleviates a lot of miscommunication and misperception. And it also makes it clear who is going to make the naughty list and who's going to make the nice list when it comes to doing what the other person has requested that we do to improve things. So identifying specific measurable needs or goals is one way that we help move the relationship forward. A big leap when it comes to improving relationship. So remember, The fundamental thing is the I feel, I want, or need statement. Once a couple gets that down to where they're doing that consistently and well, then we can really ratchet it up to the next level, which is reflecting the other person's point of view. Most of us, let's face it, most of us feel better when we feel heard and understood. One of the best ways to do that is to reflect my point of view. So here's what I'm hearing you say, blah, 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 blah. If you get it right, I'm going to feel heard and understood, and I tend to settle down. Whereas if, let's say, I invalidate you or your point of view, like that's not true because of this, that tends to escalate the other person and cause them to be angry or hurt. What's really kind of fascinating about reflecting somebody's point of view is I don't need to agree with you to reflect your point of view. So here's probably a good example of that. Let's say Packers versus Bears. So let's say I'm a Bears fan, you're a Packers fan. I can reflect your point of view, like you like the Packers because of this, and this. And if I get it, you're going to be like, yeah. Now, if you are my friend, then you might say, and you like the Bears because of that, and that. And if you get it, I feel heard and understood, you feel heard and understood, and we can have just a friendly banter about Packers versus Bears instead of a knockdown, drag-out duel. If I do the you statement or I invalidate your point of view, that's not going to go so well. So the beauty of reflecting somebody else's point of view is I don't have to even agree with it, but you're going to feel heard and understood, and we're going to get along a lot better. That's the cool thing about it. If I practice that, then I'm going to improve the quality of relationship and communication. You've probably heard about you statements. So you statements in the worst form is you this, you that, or even worse, you always, you never, which is almost always not true. So we want to avoid you statements and instead use I statements. I statements, one of the best ways to do that is the template that we talk a lot about. And that's the I feel, I want, or need statement. So I feel this emotion and I would like this behavior. That's a good way to do this. The beauty of that is it's really hard to fight when I make I feel, I want, or need statement. So I feel hurt and I need you to lower your voice or change your tone. It's hard to fight about that unless, let's face it, the other person is a real jerk, and then that becomes blaringly obvious. If I stay calm and I use the I feel, I want, or need statement and the other person blows up at me, it's obvious to everybody, including myself, who's got the issue. So what we want to do is I statements, not you statements. Feel how this feels differently when I say it. You never or you always. Most people are going to get defensive the minute I go you, because it is a finger pointing thing. I'm accusing you, and especially if I do you always, you never, now it's going to be a fight or a disagreement, or I'm going to shut down and withdraw. It's just not going to be good communication. That's why we want to do an I feel, I want, or need statement. It helps the other person to not feel as defensive because it's more palatable. It's easier to absorb and take in when you're telling me what your emotion is and you're asking for my help, basically, to help you feel better or to improve our relationship. Versus the you statement, the minute you say you this, you that, you always, you never, my deflector shields go up and I'm getting ready to launch a counterattack. And so I'm not even paying attention to what you say anymore. I'm thinking about my rebuttal. I'm arguing with you in my head. I'm not paying attention to really what you mean or what you say. So try to avoid the you statements, especially you always, you never, and stick with the I statements, especially I feel this emotion and I would like this behavior. And then if you need to do a boundary, do that along with the consequence and watch how things improve in terms of your communication and your relationships.